Well, today's episode is going to review Gatoh Move's latest show with one match regarding the Asian Dream tag team titles between the Best Bros and their opponents. Also, the fallout with AEW since Double or Nothing. There was some good surprise that took place, but we'll get to that. But also, 205 Live continues to impress with brand new talent, and hopefully we get to see them on NXT. And finally, New Japan Strong starts with their latest tour, Road to Ignition. So, let's get started with another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I'm your host Jay right here. So let's begin with Gatoh Move Pro Wrestling with their latest ChocoPro event, which was only a one-match show. Now you probably say another one, yes, but this one is too important. As you know, the Best Bros has been one of the most top tag team within Gatoh Move Pro. Basically, there hasn't been a lot of challengers to strip of the Asian Dream tag team titles from anybody. I think the funniest moments is when Antonia Honda tries to get a title shot of these, but this is no surprise. Their opponents, once again, is Minoru Fujita, who's also served as Gatoh Move's, what's it called? Super Asian champion, and of course, his partner that he teams with when he goes to Pro Wrestling Freedoms, Rina Yamashita. Now, these is not the first time these two have encountered. They have faced before, time and time again. I don't recall if they've ever challenged for the tag titles or what, but that's what I've been aware of. So the match was pretty good, very much intense. As you know, the Best Bros doing their best they can to retain the titles, but however, you know for a fact that somewhere down the line that they're going to find weak spots in order to outgrow the Best Bros as possible. Even they took their matches outside. But I think the biggest surprise was seeing Mei Shiruga, who, as tough as she can look for someone of her size, she doesn't back down from a guy like Minoru Fujita. But every step of the way, you can tell that Mei can count on Balian Aki by her side, and he always will have her back. And that's exactly what he did. And it was, of course, Mei Shiruga who put an amazing finisher, which he got on the back of Fujita and rolled him down for the 1-2-3 to retain the Asian Dream tag team titles. So that means another tag team is out the window. But the real question now remains, who will be the ones they'll try to dethrone them? That's a question I'm willing to wait. Or what should I say? Willing to see. But for now, let's keep moving with AEW Dynamite. Alrighty, so we're in the fallout in AEW Dynamite from Double or Nothing. As you know, Double or Nothing was an amazing show. You know, we have some titles that retain, new titles that exchange hands. But however, there's a lot of things that took place on this episode of Dynamite. So let's go from the beginning to the end. The opening match was Death Triangle, Pac and Penta taking on the Young Bucks. The match was, to be honest with you, it had a lot of things that took place, a lot of moving spots. As you know, the Young Bucks tried to give Mako Nakazawa one of their headbands, but he was attacked by the Elite Killer, Frankie Kazarian, and of course, he was being chased down by the Good Brothers. So basically, Frankie Kazarian got rid of the Good Brothers, but however, during the match, of course, Death Triangle did not anticipate the interference of Brandon Cutler to help them retain the titles, and that's exactly what happened. They try to give them beatdown, but here comes someone who currently still has a grudge against the Bucks, and that is the challengers from Double or Nothing, Eddie Kingston. Nowhere on Moxley, but we'll see what happens down the line. Now, as you know, in Double or Nothing, we had the biggest surprise of them all. As you know, we have AEW Rampage that will be debuting this August, and Mark Henry has been hired as an analyst and a coach. Now, however, he didn't come down to make his attention. He still has enough fight left for him. Like, I think he still wants to end his in-ring career with a couple of matches. I mean, why not? I mean, we would love to see that. WWE doesn't give the luxury a lot to wrestlers like that, but it would be an awesome thing. But it's still undecided who he wants, because apparently, while Mark Henry was with Tony Schiavone, they were abruptly interrupted by none other than, "Excuse me!" Yeah, her. Vicky Guerrero showed up. Now, she did stated that she has a new client, and I did not expect this, and I think many fans may or may not have been surprised. It's none other than Andrade El Idolo. As you guys know him from WWE, yes, he's now in AEW. It's official, been saying all social media that he is now officially with AEW. It doesn't come to a surprise, because there's been many talk where he would have wanted to go. We do know he is set to face Kenny Omega for the AAA title. But however, I think it would make a lot of sense why he would be there. Now, I know there's been a language barrier, because the person that helped him back in WWE was none other than Zelina Vega. But pairing him with Vicky Guerrero, it makes more sense. But I can't wait to see how this is going to go down. But he is a fantastic heel. He's a great wrestler. I know that WWE did not give him a really good shot, but I hope AEW does it better and they do give him a much better opportunity. Now, the next match is, of course, members of the Nightmare family taking on the Nightmare Factory. We have Lee Johnson teaming with Cody, along with Arn Anderson, taking on Factory members Anthony Ogogo and QT Marshall. And, of course, Aaron Solo was there. Now, the match was, to me, I wasn't too much fond of it, but apparently you can guess there's going to be some moving parts, all thanks to Aaron Solo, who interfered in the match and allowing for Anthony Ogogo to give a sucker punch to Cody Rhodes to pick up the victory. And QT is now proving that people doubted him, that he could never beat Cody. But however, that's how it is. He thinks that he has the much upper hand. Now, we expect the celebration of the Inner Circle with an intense victory at Stadium Stampede against the Pinnacle. But I did suspect that they were going to say thank you to Sammy, because Sammy Guevara was the one who saved the Inner Circle from disbanding. But I think now individually, certain wrestlers has unfinished business. It just revealed that Jay Cater wants Warlow in a cage match in an MMA style, which is huge. And of course, we have Santana Ortiz, who want a piece of FTR, which is another huge thing. Of course, Sammy, his issues with Sean Spears, and of course, don't forget Jericho and MJF. So basically, they beat them as a unit. However, now they're going with the direction, okay, how we would do in our own status, you know? Like I said, Santana Ortiz will want to face FTR. So any other three will have their individual matches. So this is going to be an interesting concept to see down the line. Now, in the fallout after what happened at the main event in Double or Nothing, best friends are not a happy campers after what happened. We all know Orange Cassidy had a chance to win. Even the best friends knows it. But Don Callis, who decided to interfere, thinks he did the right thing for Kenny. It appears this is not over for Orange Cassidy. Apparently, he still has his sights on the AEW title, but the real question is, when will that happen? Now, as soon as this video package came around, Alex Marvez trying to talk to them about this recent development. I don't believe Kenny has anything to worry about. He feels that maybe he failed to beat him, but however, he doesn't is not to even worry about Jungle Boy. But if I'm were you, Kenny, I would pay attention to what Jungle Boy can do in the ring. Maybe you'll learn something. Let's see, where am I right now? Okay. Oh yeah. Now we get to the tag team match of the night. This was set up after what happened in AEW Elevation or Dark. I don't remember. Jungle Boy was set to team with Christian Cage, a man that he bumped in at the Casino Barrel, taking on Private Party, and it was a really interesting match to see where they were going with it. As you know, Matt Hardy was not a happy camper that he did not get the opportunity to win the match to have a chance of the AEW World Title, but this is far from what he feels that Christian betrayed him. As you know, we know the history between Matt Hardy and Christian back at the Attitude Era. So that was one of those things. But of course, it was Jungle Boy who picked up the victory for his team when he put Mark Quinn in the snare trap, and it's over. However, like I said, the rivalry between Hardy and Christian is just getting started. Now, Team Taz, as you know, they're not too pleased with the idea how this whole match ended with Hangman Page. Taz decided to set up a tag team match between Brian Cage and Hobbs, taking on Hangman and any member of Dark Order that he chooses. Now, I was trying to figure out who could be a logical choice. To me, there was one person. You probably think I may be wrong, but I was right. It was revealed the person that I was hoping he would pick is none other than Preston Vance, aka 10. I have to say, good choice. I love the idea. So this is going to be an interesting match to see. Now we have seen Hangman teamed with Reynolds and Silver. Now I want to see how he will coexist with 10, and it's going to be interesting to see these two together. Now, as you know, we had an impressive match with Sting, a guy 62 years old, teaming with Darby Allin, taking on Sky and Ethan Page, and of course the fans keep saying, "You still got it, you still got it." So it was a great moment. Now, when he gave what he had to say, he passed the mic to Darby, but of course, it appears this rivalry between them and Sky and Page is far from over. Sky and Page believe that Darby made the biggest mistake of his life teaming with Sting. Like, basically, he feels that he's been using him. So he's telling him, find yourself someone else better, but not Sting. Because the problem is, with the storyline is being played, Sky believes that Sting is sucking the life force out of TNT because of this whole thing in their past. So they didn't give a chance to Darby to speak because they had to keep moving forward. Now, as we know, we have a brand new AEW Women's World Champion, and that is, of course, Britt Baker. She is happy, and she made it perfectly clear that this is her domain. But the real question that remained in the celebration, who would be the person who would step up, the challenger? Now, my money was on Thunder Rosa, since she's number 2 in the ranks. Now, if I was a betting person, I would say I would save that match for another pay-per-view. And I think that match would be at All Out. But the person who probably would want to challenge now is someone who I did not expect, but however, it would make sense. That person was Nyla Rose. She even crashed the party, trashed it. Basically, Nyla Rose is like the one who's trying to get her opportunity to get back in the hunt for the title. So it's still unclear when that would happen, but I will love to see it. Now, in an interview with Alex Marvez, Eddie Kingston said this thing between him and the Bucks is far from over. But he did give them a peace of mind, set to Pac and Penta, that the enemy of my enemy is my friends. So basically, they are stuck with him for now. But as you know, they haven't forgotten what Kingston did in the past. But we'll see what happens, because it's already been told that this coming Wednesday, Pac and Penta will be teaming with Kingston against the Bucks and Bratton and Cutler. Then we have an interesting women's match. We have the Bunny alongside with the Blade taking on Red Velvet, being accompanied by Kelly King and Big Swole. I have to say the match was very good. It was really good to see. I know we only seen one match of the women's division, but I have to say this is really good to see. So, but however, you would have expected somehow the Bunny would try to steal this match, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen that way. Bunny missed, and of course, it was Red Velvet that did the spinning heel kick, put her out, and won the 1-2-3. Now, next week it's already been announced who will be the one that challenge Miro for the TNT title, and that person has been chosen. It's none other than the Dark Order member Evil Uno. Now, this is going to be another interesting match, but Miro doesn't think he has what it takes to strip him of that title. So that's going to be a very interesting match to see. Now, the main event is the bull rope match between Dustin Rhodes and Nick Comoroto. The match was basically a bull rope, beating each other up with it. But of course, the one person who was helping Nick Comoroto is Aaron Solo. He exposed the turnbuckle, but however, he was taken out by Colton Gunn, sent them packing. But Nick Comoroto was the one who got taken out when he hit the exposed turnbuckle, allowing for Dustin Rhodes to win. Now, some people say that they should have been Nick Comoroto, but this is how the match ended. So I have to say the event was good, but I know they can do better. So let's keep moving forward. Alright, so we only have two matches for 205 Live. I've always been a fan of the junior heavyweight division, cruiserweights, lightweight, but this one introduced me to many of the wrestlers that I've been hoping to see down the line. And of course, they're displaying newer talent in this one, which talent we could see one day at NXT. First match of the night was Aries Sterling taking on one half of the Bollywood Boys, Seville Singh. I have to say it was a really good match, but however, I would like to consider this match a handicap match because Seville has Samil right there by his corner doing the little switcheroo, tried to fool the ref one way or the other, but I wouldn't expect a whole lot because it kind of proved that Aries Sterling is a rising star who I mean his matches outside of WWE before joining were amazing, and that's why I'm a big fan of him. I mean his matches outside of WWE, and of course his rivalry with Blake Christian, who I can't wait to see when he'll show up because I would like to see that feud renewed. But however, Aries Sterling is really impressive as always. I love what he can do. So he won his match. You probably would expect it. Now the next match is another interesting one. We have 205 original Ari Daivari taking on August Gray, a guy who they are no strangers to each other. As you know, Daivari has deep hatred towards Gray because he believes guys like him are the reason are going to take their spots. But there were some great moments you would have expected. Like you would have expected Daivari would have somehow overcome him, try to take him out to prove a point that guys like August Gray would not win. But of course, August Gray tried to put him in his finisher move not once, not twice, but 3 times. But like they always say, third time's a charm, and it paid off. It did allow for August Gray to win the match. But however, the commentators did make a very compelling point. Maybe one day we can see him compete for the NXT Cruiserweight title. So I would say make him challenge Kushida for the title. It would be good. So that's the way I would love to see it. But we just gotta wait and see when the next open challenge happens. So right now I'm gonna end the episode with the last thing I'm going to review, which is New Japan Strong Road to Ignition. Okay, as I mentioned before, this is New Japan Strong Road to Ignition. Some interesting matches that took place. First match of the night is Young Lion of the LA Dojo, Kevin Knight, taking on veteran and the first ever Young Lion in LA, TJP. I would say that not a lot of this one because you would expect the Young Lions, whenever they face veterans like TJP, it shows they're meant to lose their matches. But whenever they're facing other Young Lions, it's a 50-50 chance that one of them could walk out as the winner. But it's bound to happen. But you can guess that TJP won the match when he applied the Black Mamba, and that was it. The next match, we have Barrett Brown being accompanied by a very unusual ally. I'm talking about Bateman. Now, this match was set because a couple weeks ago, Barrett Brown won a match with Adrian Quest in the tag team. Now, Barrett Brown has been having issues, like saying people are taking his glory, and Adrian Quest is one of those guys that he felt is stealing that opportunity from him. So he's been self-aware and he attacked him from behind. Now this is like a match where it's a grudge that it's meant to happen. You get to see Barrett Brown a new attitude, and of course you would expect in some point in this match that Bateman was going to interfere, and that's exactly what he did when Adrian Quest was on the verge of winning this match. But however, it backfired. It ended up in the in the side of Barrett Brown. But however, during the post-match interview, Quest made it perfectly clear that this is not over. But Fred Rouser, as guy who's ready to fight, told him that this match was robbed thanks to the interference. But he told him, if you need any help, I'm right here. And Adrian Quest is not hesitating to ask for help because he knows the next time he has to face Barrett Brown, he has to deal with Bateman. And Fred Rouser is the guy who can watch his back. So now let's get to the main event, which is a tag team match. We have Danny Limelight and JR Kratos of Team Filthy taking on Carl Fredericks and New Japan legend Satoshi Kojima. Now you're probably saying, what? Yes, keep in mind, Satoshi Kojima has also been appearing at Impact Wrestling. So if he's here, that means he's going back and forth in both promotions. But the match was unbelievably awesome to see because I think there could be a future match between Satoshi Kojima and JR Kratos because it sounds like a match you definitely got to see. But however, the match was very interesting. There was a moment where Carl Fredericks has Standing Limelight in his grasp while Satoshi Kojima had Kratos occupied outside the ring that forced Limelight to tap out. But however, apparently we saw a continuing fight between both Kojima and Kratos. I would say we probably would see those two face off one on one down the line. And I wouldn't mind seeing that when it happens. But make it happen, New Japan. Well, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Basically, I'm a little behind on various things, but the next episode I won't be far behind. There's some planning I have been making. Stay tuned for, of course, we got another Gatoh Move show to be watched. I will throw in the DDT event that I missed, that I was supposed to throw in, and I'll throw in another Japanese wrestling show. It's still undecided. Also, keep in mind, this Sunday will be another DWZ podcast with J-Rod coming up with interesting topics, talking about the recent releases of WWE and what did we expect individually, how they reacted, and also the possibilities, what could go down if they who would sign them, and all of that. but also there'll be other things to discuss, and that includes, of course, the rumors, the circulating that WWE can be sold. That is much we can discuss on the podcast. Now, if you guys don't have me on the podcast, follow me on DWZ Podcast with J Rod. I'm either at I'm in you can find me in the platforms for Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, Breaker, Public radio public radio, and Overcast, wherever. So until then, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time, in the next DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.